100%, man. Definitely don't want to be on site with either one of those guys, nor the guy we're about to bring on, man. Nor the guy we're about to bring on, because this man is insane. One of the best to do it in karate, man. Somebody I absolutely adore the stuff that he's done. The World Cup title, World Warrior Cup multiple times, 2 Diamond National rings. This man has been the middleweight champion. He was the middleweight champion of karate combat up until his retirement, which saddened all of us. I don't think there's been 2 times I wanted to cry at karate combat, and that was one of the times I wanted to cry. So this guy, I was excited to have him on. Brooklyn native, Kings County guy, my man, Turbo Ross Levine, former middleweight champion karate combat. Let me get you over to the big screen. There we go. There he is, my man Turbo in the building. How you feeling today?
Guys? Man, I'm doing great. How about you guys? Good to see everybody again.
Doing good, champ. How you feeling? How's retirement? How's retirement treating you?
Man, well, I'm sure a lot of people have been keeping up with me. I'm crazy busy right now. I mean, we're getting ready to open a gym. But otherwise, training really hard, coaching a lot. My students are crushing it. So life is good, fellas.
Yeah, man, that's super dope. We did see you open up a new gym. That's beautiful. I seen you guys in there kicking walls and stuff like that. That was dope. I love that video. You got to involve the martial arts even in the construction. I love to see it.
A little bit of demo. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I had to run some demo on my own. But yeah, it's going well. We're anticipating like a March opening date. So it's coming along fast.
And this is in Rhode Island, correct?
It is, yeah. It's in Rhode Island. It's funny, you know, I live right now in Warwick, Rhode Island, which is like central. We're going to go a little bit further south to actually the stomping grounds of my wife, Maddie, in North Kingstown. So it's a really great spot. There's actually an Amtrak in the same like little it's in like I don't want to call it a cul-de-sac, but it kind of is. There's like 3 different mini plazas in the spot where I'm at, and there's an Amtrak station right behind it. So people that are on the East Coast, you want to come visit, it's going to be like that to get there. So it's going to be really, really cool. I'm excited.
Pickers, that sound like we might need to take a trip up, bro. Well, I mean, also Mallory, you right there as well. So yeah, we're all right there in the same realm of things.
It's the great thing because, and good to see you again, Ross. It's great. You know, we've not only got sparring tips, we've got medical advice. Now we're getting a bunch of deconstruction, how to build things, guys taking down walls. They're pulling out carpets. Your channel is evolving. I'm expecting food reviews next. You know, we're covering so many topics here, but it's great. I was so happy to see that you and Maddie have, you know, you guys are taking this journey, and obviously I will be. I promise you that I will be making a trip up there. We'll do some lives. We'll do some behind the scenes and everything. Actually, a question for you. Tell me what you've learned so far in terms of starting this type of business, because you have your own business before with therapy. Starting this type of business, what have you learned so far that you didn't know before?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's just so much behind the scenes. I learned a lot about negotiation. I learned a lot about leasing commercial property. You know, all that lingo is brand new to me. I learned that I've made some really great connections over the years. And the people that I'm close with, you know, it's good when you learn how to keep your circle very small and very tight. It's amazing the things that come from that. So just like, I think Mallory, you might have met my buddy Steve Napa. He's been to a bunch of my karate combat fights, older gentleman. He's the man. He was a client of mine. We would work out together. You know, when I was off camp, we would do like our meathead workouts on Sunday. He just likes to be around the boys. But anyway, Steve is a bigwig in the construction department, you know, when it comes to Rhode Island. So he's the man. So right off the bat, he's like, I got you on a contractor. He's like, I'll set you up with the right people. They'll do right by you. So we got that taken care of. They started work almost immediately when I signed the lease. And then, so my buddy Pat, his brother does hardwood floors, but not just any hardwoods. He does like Providence College, Boston Garden. So he does like really high level flooring. So he's going to hook up the floors. And the best man in his wedding is a master electrician. So it's like boom, 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 boom. All from just having like the right people around me, you know? So I got to give that, you know, that credit goes back to my parents on just raising me right. And, you know, the people that I've been around. And then, of course, when it comes to the business side, you know, Jotty Tension and, you know, that whole group of like the Relentless, now it's the Impact Mastermind group, Kelly Murray coaching when it comes to, you know, managers and stuff. So, man, I'm really thanking my lucky stars that I've been surrounded by such amazing people that are going to help this be successful.
Yeah. It's interesting too that, and I want to ask you, like, do you find yourself like finding it hard to make time for all these things. I also see as well, Sam Alvey is another one like yourself who does a multitude of things, right? He runs a food truck. He's doing school now, teaching people online. He's got the farm. He's got the family, which is huge, right? As well. He's got his career, and then he's posting like 3 times a day on every social, right? So you're also in that same realm of just like, you have so many things on your plate. How do you go about like adding these new things and not straining yourself on the other ones?
Yeah, I don't believe that, the people that will sit back and be like, oh, there's not enough time in the day. Well, how many hours are you scrolling on Instagram? Like let's like kind of do an audit real quick and see what's really wrong with your time. But I had to learn again, kind of much earlier in my life, that time blocking was so key. So for me, it's kind of straightforward. You have your schedule, you got 24 hours in a day. When I was in grad school, it was very simple for me of like, okay, what's non-negotiable? These are my hours at school. I have to be there. There is nothing I can do about it. So that's gone. What do I have left? Well, I got to sleep. I need at least this many hours of sleep. Okay, that's this chunk a day. What do I have left? And, how do you build on that? And you just keep chacking it away of like, all right, here's my number one priority. I got to train. If I don't train, nothing else is going to go right. So I plug that in. And then you just filter everything else in. Now, does it become more difficult when you have more things? Sure. But it's like I was talking to a client today. They're like, oh, how are things going to change when you open the gym with like Turbo Sports International? Like nothing. It's not going to change. I'm just going to protect my time and make sure I'm not doing anything that doesn't move the needle for me. So it's the same way that, I approached my combat career, right? It's like that came before everything. That's why I never opened the gym before I finished my career, because I wanted to give that my sole focus. And now we're moving into the next phase of my life, and this is where we're at.
Yeah, I respect that, man. Somebody told me one time, and it fucked me up in the head when they said it. And I was like, man, that's not enough time. And he was like, yo, Jay-Z got 24 hours, the same 24 hours you got, Jay-Z has. Sure. He runs 16 businesses, a family, a record label, all this stuff. And you telling me you're busier than him? And I was like, damn, you got a point there. And I was like, all right. And it made me think a little bit more on that. So it's a very, very intelligent way to look at it, and very pragmatic too. Like it's very like simplistic, but sometimes it's harder for people to get over that. The way culture is built nowadays, like you said, Instagram, TikTok, all of these social getaways that people go to with their minds, and they don't understand like how much time it takes away from other things. So, go ahead.
And I think that's a severely great point in terms of how much time management and everything. And I believe that if we were to look at time management in terms of time is one thing that we universally, every person here gets the same amount when the clock struck midnight today until currently right now. So for example, if you were to pay time out like you were to pay money, like hey, I'm only going to spend 5 minutes watching a story on Instagram. It's really great. It's funny, but it's like you're paying. You're not going to get that time back. Those minutes are burnt. But this revolves to the question, Ross, I know you've spoken many times about not only training, but you incorporated mental training in your career as well. How has that mental training helped you towards the business side?
Yeah, I mean, I actually still work with Dylan. I still work with MindLock because he works with, I think the way that you approach any type of competition at a high level, it's going to translate over to business. I mean, protecting myself and being a high level athlete is no difference than being a high level successful CEO, right? I have to manage my time. I have to train. I have to make sure I'm educating myself at every turn and just always taking advantage of all those opportunities. So it really doesn't change. I'm still working with Dylan Nadler. Maybe we're not as frequent, but I'm still talking to him and trying to dial in. But some of those same strategies of like, okay, how do I get the very best out of each training session? What are my goals? How do I need to feel for me to achieve those goals and be successful? Is the same way I'm attacking business. It's like, all right, what are the most important things that we need to do this week between myself and my wife, Maddie, who's going to help manage the gym? And then it's like, all right, so if this week is all about curriculum development, what do I need to do to put that in place? How do I need to feel? What kind of emotion do I want to bring into it? What are my goals? What's my vision? And then you just chop it down and break it up across the week. And next thing you know, you got stuff done. So, it's a lot. And I'm not saying this is easy. I think it's simple in nature. It's simple in theory. It's definitely not easy, but that's why not everybody does it. I think it's all about figuring out how to navigate that and being able to communicate really well. And then also just get done what you got to get done. There's nothing else that's going to stop me but me right now.
Yeah. Love to hear it, man.
All right. Hey, Ross. Hanukkah just got done yesterday. I know you're busy with all this. You got your business and the construction. Did you get a chance to celebrate? And did you get a chance to eat any good Hanukkah food?
So, I'm not super religious. So no, I did not, indulge in any of the great Hanukkah food. My wife is Italian, so I would much rather have like pasta than a latke. So I'm gonna, I'm not gonna make that sacrifice anymore. But where, but it was really cool because Christmas and Hanukkah aligned, so we were able to celebrate. We saw some family and we got all that done. So I appreciate you asking, man. That was great.
Awesome, that's fantastic. Yeah, no, I ate too many latkes, so I'm on the opposite side of that. Okay, yeah. Speaking of eating too many latkes, I know you work with a lot of up and coming fighters. I think I've heard of a couple of guys in the IFC mention your name. And one thing that really fascinates me about these IFC guys, obviously most fighters go through years of training and then rigorous training camps, and a lot of these guys are kind of stepping into the gym for the first time and taking a fight within 3 or 4 months of even starting training. So
Yeah.
I'm curious, what are the essentials for these guys, and what are the things that they should focus on in such a short time?
Yeah, that's a crazy thing with these IFC fighters. But I think a lot of times, like the lay person will be like, "Oh, this is going to be such a stupid fight," but these guys are putting their heart and soul, and girls are putting their heart and soul into this stuff, and they're treating it like they are in the UFC or they're in karate combat. So it is cool to watch. And is the level the same as a world championship level fight? No, but that doesn't like take away from the effort that still has to go into what they're doing on a regular basis. So, I mean, my advice would be take it seriously, because the person standing across from you is also going to take it seriously. Make sure you surround yourself with the right people. It's not a game. Combat sports is not for fun. It is combat, and you can get hurt, as you see in many of the events. So I think just take it seriously, do all the things that you think you should do as a professional athlete, and you'll get the results. Take care of your nutrition, take care of your recovery, and make sure you surround yourself with the right people to train, and you'll be successful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then I got one more question on that topic. I know a lot of IFC fighters have also gotten up after their fights and talked about how the discipline from training has changed their lives. They've been able to live healthier and diet better. A lot of these guys are, again, stepping in there for the first time, not a lot of experience in athletics in general. What's some good nutritional advice that you give a beginner?
Oh gosh. I mean, first thing is, let's instead of telling you what to eat, it's easier to say what not to do. The not to do is a much easier list that will get you results faster. Number one, cut out your alcohol, right? Alcohol isn't going to do anything for you anyway. So cut that out. That's usually a big way to lose weight, period. You just get rid of the poison and you'll be okay. But get rid of the alcohol, any type of, recreational drugs, things like that. Eliminate what you think a professional would be eliminating. Increase your water intake, and then just focus on your protein and carbs. I think a lot of times we think about, oh my God, I got to lose weight, I got to cut out carbs. I think that's nonsense. It's all fad dieting and kind of like fear mongering in the nutrition world. Carbs are good for you. They're fuel for your muscles. So, carbs are okay, especially for a combat athlete. So as long as everything is in moderation, but get rid of the alcohol and recreational drugs, increase your water, get your carbs, get your protein, get your fats. You'll be okay.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Ross, I have one other question. Now, I've been following, of course, this new journey with the new business and everything, and I don't think I've missed this, but what is the name of the new gym? And also give us everything that you're going to be teaching there. What are we to expect from this new paradise that is in lovely Rhode Island?
Yeah, man. Let me pop this hoodie off. It is warm. It's cold outside, but the sun's coming
I was going to say, it's cold in Rhode Island. I've been up there.
It is, but the sun is popping in, and I'm getting blasted by the sun, so it's nice and warm. It is going to be Turbo Kickboxing Academy. I'm super excited. It's got a nice ring to it. Took me a while to figure some things out. We just actually we're going to be announcing the colors tonight. So our YouTube channel is live. So anybody watching Turbo Kickboxing Academy, checking on YouTube, we'd appreciate the subscription, comments, and all the videos. Our next video is actually going to be a full Q&A. So I'm not going to give all the details on like the colors and all the schemes and the equipment we're going to have. Check out that video. But Turbo Kickboxing Academy, North Kingstown, Rhode Island. As far as the curriculum, what we're going to be teaching, it is primarily going to be kickboxing. You know, I'm not going to be teaching forms and weapons and stuff like that from the sport karate side. I think there will be a lot of the things that you saw me mesh into my combat career that I found very successful from sport karate will be taught. I think the footwork, the distance management, the control of space, I think is something that I did very well with. And I want to be able to pass that along. I'm already coaching that with my students now. So that's going to be a staple in, you know, TKA and what we do there.
Thanks. And just if anybody ever wants to see, just go ahead and type in Ross Levine. Let's go both forms. The man does know how to use weapons. So if you ever want to throw back, go ahead and Google that. There's plenty of video out there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So Mal actually did a perfect layup for some of my questions.
Who is that? Who is that guy? What is happening under there?
Yeah, he's been, I don't know, man. He's going real
taking the
barbarian on us
no
lately,
shave
yeah.
November a little too deep, my friend.
We're in January, bro.
He's going.
Yeah.
I think it looks good, man. I think it looks good. Teen Wolf, let's go.
But yeah, the question I was going to have is there's not a lot of kickboxing academies, like pure kickboxing academies in the U.S. And the ones that do the sport of kickboxing, they usually either label it like Muay Thai, or they have, or it's like a karate dojo that has an American kickboxing program attached to it. So what made you want to start a gym dedicated to the sport of kickboxing? And why do you think there aren't so many kickboxing gyms in the U.S. since this transition?
Yeah, I mean, simply that there're just not a ton of kickboxing. I think MMA really took over in the U.S. fast, where like the K1 kickboxing never quite took off for whatever reason. I mean, whether it be marketing dollars. I mean, why did Glory never become the most popular sport in the U.S.? I don't know. I think Glory Kickboxing and One Championship Kickboxing is some of the most exciting fights you're ever going to see. But I don't know why it never took off. For me, it's really because I just became really passionate about it. You know, I did sport karate for so long. And after many years of training in the martial arts and doing Taekwondo, I stopped doing the forms. It stopped becoming enjoyable to me. I also realized that as a combat athlete, it just wasn't practical for me. You know, I can argue with the traditionalists for years and years and years. And, you know, I don't have the time or energy for that. But, you know, it's like I just didn't find it practical for me and what I wanted to do. So I stopped training. And I started putting my attention somewhere else and kind of evolving my game. So, you know, for me right now, I'm taking all of what I'm doing in 5-year windows. I think it is fair for us to also say, like, 5 years from now, my knowledge should change. My passion should change. The things that I enjoy and don't enjoy will change, just like your taste buds change. So 5 years from now, maybe I'll be doing something a little bit different, or my curriculum will evolve or digress into something different. But, you know, you even look at some of my mentors like Jody Tenshin. It used to be TCK, you know, Tenshin's Championship Karate. And then it was TCK Mixed Martial Arts. And now it's TCK Modern Martial Arts. You know, there is room for evolution and change. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Right now, I'm super passionate about the kickboxing community and, you know, what that has done for my life and the life of my students. And I can't wait to pass that on. And as times change, I will change with it.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of fighters that come from that sport karate background when they make an American kickboxing system or Machida karate, that they took the idea of katas and made it more practical for like sport fighting through modules and Kihon kata. But one thing you talked about in your video that I actually watched on your YouTube channel is that you want to bring in that traditional like values of martial arts.
1,000%.
So why do you think that's so important? And also, do you think that you'll also bring in a belt system like American kickboxing and BMT?
Yeah, awesome question. First of all, thank you for watching that, and thank you for bringing that up, because that's a huge thing that I think is missing from combat sports in general. But the answer is very simple. It's culture, right? I want to really breed a positive and endearing culture and be a force in the community. And I think one of the ways that we do that is by making sure that the community understands exactly what it is that we're all about. And I think what helped me be really, really successful, but not only that, but likable, as a combat artist is the way that I carried myself. I carried myself with integrity. You know, I was honest. I was loyal. I still am those things. But it's like I said in the video, you know, those aims to achieve that I learned, you know, back in Taekwondo is courtesy, integrity, self-control, perseverance, indomitable spirit. I mean, I think those things are very important. And it comes with the simple things of, hey, when you walk in, feet together, you bow at the mat, bow at the door, bow at the mat. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Like those things will will kind of like transcend the mat, and you will bring that to every single thing that you do in life. I mean, I know you guys, Mal and Mac, and you know, Apollo, I don't know what your martial arts background is in full, but how many times have you guys walked into like a classroom and found yourself, you go to bow in a classroom, you're like, what the hell am I doing? Or you go into like the dentist's office, you open the door, you bow, you're like, God damn it, I did it again. But it's so cool, you know, like that's the stuff that I want my students to value. And I also want to note too, like, this is not going to be a fight gym. I am not promoting it as like, we are going to build fighters and I'm going to have the biggest fight team in the world. That will happen organically. What I want to do is make an impact in the community, and I want to serve the people that are like me when I came up, that just needed some guidance and, you know, needed an outlet, and look what it can become.
Yeah. That's super dope. I respect that, because coming from where it come from, you get the wrong outlets, it could get real hectic really quickly.
Yeah.
For sure. Mac, did you have any more for him?
Yeah, a couple more. But the other second part of the question was, do you think you'll bring in the belt
that's
system?
right. Yeah, sorry, I didn't touch on that. Yes, there will be a ranking system. I think we're going to do, we will probably do some type of belt system for the children's program. I think the kids program, I like the idea of belts. I think it's something tangible. They can feel it, they can see it, touch it. It's very easy to show progress that way. I think the youth classes really need that, because it's important to see progress and have that be tangible. But for the adults, we're going to work on something different. I do love the way that Bang Muay Thai and my man Dwayne Ludwig, I love how they do the colored T-shirts, you know, the shorts in different ways. So I'm going to try and find something unique that I can do for like my teen and adults, where we can still have some type of ranking, because I think there is an importance for knowing where you're at, and also know where you're going, right? And have some type of representation of what that rank means and what it means to uphold that rank. Otherwise, you're just training to train, right? So I want to also have that way of building retention and goal setting and things like that.
So 2 last questions. First, I think the question a lot of people are asking, especially me, because if I can, I definitely want to be at that grand opening. When is the grand opening? Do you have an estimated time?
The estimated date for our soft opening is sometime early March. You know, the way that everything is, you know, it's funny, I keep saying this to people, but it's like everyone, when I got started, they're like, construction always takes longer than you think it's going to be. And like, you're going to run into a problem here, and be patient and this and that. And I'm sitting here like waiting for something to go wrong. But thankfully, things are just smooth sailing right now. So as long as it keeps up on that track, I mean, I think soft opening in March, and then potentially a grand opening sometime in April. And Mal, you know, there's a martial arts tournament in Rhode Island in April.
In Warwick.
So we may in Warwick. So we're right in that kind of, I think that would be a great time, because I know the karate world really wants to support me, and I've gotten so many great messages. So we may do more of like an official grand opening sometime closer to April, but we'll see as things progress. I mean, we might hit the ground and be ready, and it might be sooner, but I will absolutely be promoting it and have that be an open event. We're going to have a lot of people coming by, even just like local influencers. So maybe if some of the IFC guys want to fly out and kind of check out the gym and, you know, take a class or something and have some fun, we'll get that rocking.
Okay. And my final question is, the champs, the new champs of the Goat Shed, and Luis Rocha were having some back and forth in a group message we have on Twitter. And I just want to get your thoughts on a comment Arturo Vergara made to Luis Rocha, since it kind of involves you too. He said, well, with all due respect, but the only real champs now is Shazab and me, because you guys never fought with this rule set. You used to throw kicks and touch opponents with points. We actually knock people out. Fuck the point fighting and screaming after each hit.
Well, I mean, I don't, to some degree, I don't disagree. I'll tell you where I do disagree. I knock people out.
That's a fact.
So,
That's a fact. No lies spoken there.
I knock people out. I like to knock people out. I want to hurt people. So that's really the only thing I disagree with. He's not wrong, man. It is a new game. It is a different game. It is not the same league that it was when I was in there, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it is what it is. So yeah, I'm not disagreeing. I also don't know why Luis Rocha got passed up on that opportunity. Is he still hurt?
Maternity leave.
Oh, good for him. Congratulations to him.
They just had a baby not too long ago. Yeah.
Yeah, his wife had a
He said that's why the fight was supposed to be before the birth.
Yeah.
Then they got pushed back, and then they were going to do it, but it was like right around the time she was having the baby, and then she had it. So that's kind of that gray area why he's doing it 2 interim fights. But
well, I think everybody should shut their mouth and give the man time with his baby.
Yeah, I mean, let him rock. I'm like, I want him to fight now because I'm just selfish. I'm just a selfish fight fan, and I always say I'm dumb, so don't listen to me. So it is what it is, right? But that leads me into. I'm glad Mac asked that perfect layup. We all over here is like Harlem Globetrotters right now.
And we didn't even
nobody knows anybody's questions at all. There's literally just let it rip. The evolution of karate combat, right? As we spoke about it, right? Karate combat is a total different game from when you guys first stepped in, and guys like you, Scrivers, Rocha, the list goes on, right? Alvy as well. He's one of those guys that's been around for a minute from the old rule set into the new rule set, and you kind of left in the middle of the evolution of it, right? But I know, the transition, and I know you are I know for a fact that you watch all of them, and I know how much you pay attention. What are your thoughts on the evolution of like, and I know you guys, because we both know the traditional karate guys are, it's more MMA now, and you should change the name. I hear it all the time. You should change the name for karate combat. It's not karate anymore, this, that, and the third, right? And then you got these new guys coming in who have these MMA bases, and they're doing really well, and they're kind of like some of the karate guys, even against the Muay Thai guys, aren't doing that well, right? What's your overall sentiment on what you're seeing with the evolution of karate combat being basically an OG? And me, and for us, we first ballot Hall of Famer. We're all pushing for 100%.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's anything bad to say. I mean, it's just because something is different doesn't mean it's not good, right? Is it not good for those guys who came on, even before me, that are still in the league that have never adapted and never evolved? Yeah, it's not good for them. Is it something like, I always say this too, it's like, would I have been eager to jump into karate combat now? If I was in the position I was in 5 years ago, would karate combat be something on my radar? Maybe not. It would be something that I would have to entirely change my training for. I would have had to do everything differently, where while I was, like you said, kind of in the middle of that transition, I was able to still utilize my skill set and then pull people in for fight camps. Like for Adamov, I pulled in a judo black belt and I started working on some judo. For the Sam Alvey fight, although it didn't really matter because he was too damn big, but I was working on some wrestling with some bigger guys, So like I was trying to evolve little bits and pieces, like on a fight-to-fight basis, because the rules were changing on a fight-to-fight basis. But now that you see this is the rule set, it looks like this is probably where it's going to stay for a while. Essentially it's MMA without submission grappling. So, it would be a completely different sport. It is a different sport. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's just different than what it was. And if the people that are still there that don't like it, leave. I think I have 2 gripes with karate combat right now. All right. Okay. And it's pretty straightforward. Number 1, I never got my belt. So I would still like my belt. I would like my third belt. I would like a belt. I actually messaged Awesome. I messaged Robert Bryan. So I'm waiting for them to get back to me. So if you guys are watching, give the man his belt. I want to put it up in my, when I say 3-time world champion on my website and you only got 2 belts in the gym, they're going to think I'm a fraud. So, so I would love.
Maybe show up in Miami and be like, "Where's my belt?"
No, we need to get him one of the new shiny ones, one of those glow in the dark ones, whatever, the LEDs.
I don't even do that. So, but anyway, with that being aside, my only other gripe is that I think there's a lot of fighters that are still on the roster that are like the old era. You even see like they're starting up these like old era versus new era. Some of those guys don't want to be there, but they're not being allowed to exit their contract. So they're getting forced into these matchups that, in my opinion, don't really make sense, and it's kind of irresponsible. But that's just my take. Like perfect example, Adam Rosa. Right, Adam Rosas. So he's had 2 professional fights. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think he had any professional fights prior to Karate Combat. Mac, fact check me.
No.
Okay.
No.
He's had 2 professional fights in Karate Combat. One, he lost a decision to my good friend Zach Benbuchta. Then he got knocked out by Sam Alvey. So he's 0-2 in Karate Combat, and you put him against a WBC world champion.
Yeah.
That makes zero sense. And then what happened? He got stretchered out. That's not cool. You know, so I don't love that. If you don't want those guys in Karate Combat and they don't want to be there, let go of their contract. You don't need them. If they do want to be there, like give them reasonable matchups like that. Those two had no business being in the same arena together. You know, let alone the same thing. He had the same reason he had no reason to be with Sam Alvey is the same reason he didn't belong there. But you know, and it just sucks. You see a guy like that who now, aside from the physical and mental damage that he may have, but now we're shortening his potential career. You know, so that kind of sucks. But I like the evolution.
And it sucks too because when it comes to those point guys that transition to full contact, he's one of those guys that transitioned well. He just never had that time to really develop.
Well, I thought his fight with Zach was appropriate. You know, you have those guys where it was still kind of like the rule set was close enough to what they had done before, but different enough where it was challenging but not dangerous. Now it's straight up dangerous for those guys to step in with anybody that has some MMA experience, and that's why you see the guys like Arturo Vergara, like Luis Rocha, or Luis Rocha still, but Shazib as well. They're doing fantastic because look at their experience, and then look at the people they're fighting, and look at the rule set. It's like they have a significant advantage. They are fantastic fighters, and they're going to do well for very, very long. But I'm excited to see how the league continues to grow.
Yeah. And speaking on Vergara, I wanted to get your thoughts because I know, like I said, I know you watched the fights. I want to get your thoughts on that fight, which was one it was quite surprising. It was one a lot of us didn't want to see, but also quite surprising of how quickly it did end, and that we've never seen Owen basically go down in that fashion, right? We've seen Teboev drop him. That was with the liver shot. That was a little different. Yeah, it was a body shot. Kind of debilitated his body. Couldn't really do much. But this one was a little different. It was awkward, too, because I was there and I really didn't understand what was going on. Like, it was so weird. I didn't know if he was out or if he was just covering up or if he had just went out and he was just stiff, right? Because it looked like he was covering up the whole time. But then when he came back to it, it looked like he was waking up. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on the fight, like the outcome and just like, where did you expect it like to go like that? I don't know if anybody did. I knew it was a pick 'em, but that quick and on Twitter regard, and he actually, the crazy thing is he told me like, I'm gonna get it done quick. Like he told me that before, and which I respect. Like you don't want to sit in there for a long time with a guy like Owen Chumya. He will figure you out and he will pick you apart, right? So the smart move is to do that, but I don't think anybody had that on their bingo card, bro, at all. The way it went out, you did? Yeah. Wow, I want to hear this. Let's go.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this: why would you not expect it to go that way?
I didn't expect it to go that quickly. I expected. Well, Owen's tough, right? We seen him go at it with Eric Perez. We seen him go at it with a lot of guys. He sent him bang. The 3 or 4 Frenchmen that he fought before, they weren't slouches, right? There was some tough guys that he went up against before he got the belt. So, and also Arturo, another tough guy, right? You sat there, watched him go up with the last guy, who's a freaking tank. I forget his name, Safar Akhmadov. It's a freaking tank, right? So both tough guys. We've never really seen either one of them get dropped like that. So I'm not thinking it's going to end that quickly. So that was my sentiment, right? I knew that somebody had to win this Karate Combat. It's no draws, right? Somebody's going to win. I didn't think it would be in that dominant fashion on either side. I thought it might be a close split decision.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm gonna give it to you from this, and this is the stuff that most people won't pay attention to. I think a lot of people love that fight. I was one of them. I was calling for the fight. I'm like, this is great. Listen, if Teboev's not here, that's the fight to make. Sick fight. Love both of those guys. I have a great relationship with both of them. Putting all that aside, and we just look at strategy, right? Who has the bigger skill set? Who has more ways to win? Vergara, right? It's pretty clear to see that. It comes from an MMA background. He has tons of training partners at a very high level, where Owen doesn't have that. As a matter of fact, where did Owen go to train twice leading up to this fight? To where he's training. Now, listen, I don't care from the Gen Pop, who, like the layperson who looks at karate combat and they only see Awesome as like the figurehead who like gets kind of wild and crazy and is outlandish. He is a damn good coach. I don't care what you say about the guy, whether you like him, hate him, it doesn't matter. He is a very good coach, and he knows his stuff. The other thing that's all in Goat Shed, there are cameras everywhere.
Yep.
So you don't think all of those training sessions were filmed?
Yeah.
You don't think so now you're taking the number one contender, you are putting him in a scenario where, yeah, you're going to coach him. Is Owen going to get better? For sure. But I guarantee they knew every single weakness, and he attacked that weakness immediately. Yeah. Where was Owen never really challenged in either of his fights? In the clinch.
In the clinch.
Boom.
Never.
30 seconds.
It's always been.
And he had no proper defense in the clinch. His hands were down, protecting from knees. He did everything wrong in the clinch. I love Owen, and he's going to get better from this. I don't know why Jesus is in the Goat Shed training after he just saw what happened. Like, it's just, guys, like, there's so many other options. Why would you train with the guy you're getting ready to fight?
Yeah,
it makes no sense to me.
It was American top team down there. You got quite a few spots you can go to. I mean, it's definitely enough gyms in South Florida. It's not like one of the spots where it's like, it's like a gym here or there, or like a Denver or Boston. No, South Florida is like Vegas and Cali. Like it's hella gyms. It's a lot of gyms.
And don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not saying that people should not go train there. I think you should go train there. I think that they have great coaching staff. Their record speaks for itself. Their talent speaks for itself. Those guys are very, very good. But if I got to fight one of them, I ain't training there. Like, what are you doing?
I know, and it was. I thought that same thing when they announced it. I'm like, well, fuck, they trained with each other. It's like they know each other. Like, they're basically teammates. Because, like, I mean, Owen is like an extended, like, because they have extended like athletes that they have, right? Jay Duran's one of them. Jay Duran is a Goat Shed athlete, but she just doesn't strictly train at Goat Shed. She comes over when she has fights. When she's in America, she comes like a week or two early, right? Sure. So they have these extended fighters. So technically they were teammates, but yeah, that's tough, like fighting your teammate. And it gets even tougher. We were just talking about this the other week. The possibility of Loxby might have to fight Arturo. They're in the same weight class, and Loxby's rising. So what do we do there, right? Like, it's going to come to a point where it's like, well, they have to fight each other. And I asked him too, literally after Arturo fight, I'm like, bro, like, what happens when you guys get to a point where y'all have nobody else to fight but each other? And he was like, we might just have to fight each other. So, I mean, I guess, and then it's such a stacked weight class. It's crazy. It's insane. That
you would hope there's opportunities for them to both continue to grow. Like, you look at the Marab and Aljo situation. That's a very simple way to put it, right? Those guys really didn't want to fight. Hopefully, if you have to, it's a business decision at that point, and everybody wins. As long as you guys aren't incapacitating each other and like ruining each other's careers. But I think there's enough talent in that division where Loxby still has a lot of room to grow, and Arturo's there. So, how long can Arturo continue to do what he's doing and take out all the top talent while Loxby's rising? And then maybe there is no more for Arturo to do, and he moves down or moves up and takes on super fights. Like, he's that good. So that might open up some room for Loxby to then take over. And then, you can have this kind of back and forth, just like you see what Aljo and Marab did. The benefit is they're both very, very young in the sport. Maybe Arturo continues to sharpen his tools here as the Karate Combat champ. When Loxby's ready to take that load, maybe you see Arturo Vergara in the UFC. Like, there's a lot of opportunities that might pop off with these guys, and there's no doubt they're talented and able to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think Arturo I think Arturo is going to be a Karate Combat for life.
Oh, yeah.
I think he only went to MMA just because for Pan American athletes, you're one of the lucky ones that made it to the big leagues of kickboxing.
Sure.
I think if Arturo had a pathway to glory, he would have went to glory.
Yeah. Well. So I have a really cool relationship with Arturo way back. So I don't know how many of you guys know this, but before, and I can show you the receipts too, but before, that's why we were really tight. If you saw me and Arturo hanging out together a lot in Austin, my retirement fight, It was a really cool moment for us because before COVID, Arturo had reached out to me because I was still living in New York at the time, I believe. And he was trying to get a visa to come over and compete here and like get fights in the US so that he can establish himself and become a citizen and then become a pro fighter and go that journey here. So I had set him up with actually Tom Sconzo, who at the time was one of the head reps in New York for the ISKA, trying to get him, utilizing Tom Sconzo and the ISKA to get an athlete visa, a sport visa, so he can come to the US. He was going to live and train with New York. We were going to try and sync up and do some training together. And then COVID hit. So COVID kind of put a damper on everything. Throughout that process, he was able to move to Miami, and then it just kind of spiraled, and we met up back at Karate Combat. So It was just a really cool opportunity for us to then like link back up and be like, dude, this is so cool for you. So I've always been a huge fan and supporter of that guy because he literally brought himself here, self-made from nothing, to where he is now as a Karate Combat champ and being successful is really cool. And he's a freaking great dude. He's a really nice guy. I love Arturo. I got a lot of love for him. So I think he's going to be successful with whatever he does because he's got that mentality. He's got that dog in him, and he's just a good dude. So, as long as he stays that way, I think he's going to be very successful.
Yeah.
If you mind, King of Paul, I just have one quick follow-up to some of the things that Ross has been talking about. So you talked about how it's a different game, and you wonder if when you were a kickboxer, if you would have still went for Karate Combat. Like, there's not many options for top-level kickboxers within Pan America. If you're one of the ones that get to, like, One or Glory, you're one of the lucky ones. So Karate Combat is still one of the biggest options for striking-focused sports in Pan America. So do you think this is still a good option for pure kickboxers, or would you say that it's not really the skill set that you wouldn't want them to try maybe an MMA fight first to see if they would like that type of fight?
Yeah, well, that's what it comes down to. As a pure kickboxer, there's still so many differences. Even like you're seeing some of the Muay Thai professionals have good success because of the clinch and the elbows. But let's see what happens when those guys get taken down. Some of those pure kickboxers are not going to fare well. So it is a different sport. And if you try and ignore it, you're a fool. I mean, you look at, from a striking perspective, take my fight with Sam Alvey, for example. Like, I think from a pure striking standpoint, if that was a kickboxing fight, I would imagine that most people would probably lean towards me. I think that's why most people were leaning towards me in that fight. Regardless of our size advantage or the size disadvantage I was in. But, once he grabbed a hold of me, I went back and I said to my corner, I was like, guys, we're going to be here all night. Like, it makes such a big difference. So, to have a pure kickboxer who's never done any type of grappling, wrestling, who doesn't know how to get up, and then you throw a pit wall in there that makes it so much difficult. It is a different sport. So I would not recommend a pure kickboxer just say, I'm just going to try my luck and see what happens, because even a lower level grappler will beat you up in Karate Combat.
Yeah.
So for a pure sport karate guy that wants to go to Karate Combat, you're their coach. They come to you. They want you to get you to Karate Combat. What's the path?
The pathway is not the big turbo.
You gotta stop karate. Yeah. Stop doing sport karate and sign up to an MMA gym.
Yeah, I think if you're young and that's the pathway that you want, like Karate Combat excites you. It's not the UFC. It's different. Maybe you don't want to do jiu-jitsu. That's really the only differing factor right now is like, do you want to do submission grappling or do you not want to do submission grappling? That's really the only differentiating the different factor right now. And then cage versus pit. So if the pit excites you and that style of that kind of like underground fighting and the involvement of crypto and all that stuff really excites you and it's new and fresh and you want to jump into Karate Combat, do it. But you better sign up to an MMA gym and stop doing sport karate immediately. Like it's just the skill set has transitioned where maybe you keep some of those elements where you have a little bit of a different flavor, kind of like myself, like a Raymond, like a Michael Page, where you have that kind of different look that can save you in some instances. But when it comes down to the meat and potatoes of the skill set, there are certain things that you have to be able to do. You have to be able to get up. And if you're not wrestling and not doing jiu-jitsu, you can't win in Karate Combat long term. Yeah. 100%.
So it's unlikely we'll see like a Bailey Murphy just because there's so much money that he's making within.
Maybe. I mean, Bailey's a unique character because Bailey has been training at Fusion. You know, when he's home, the guy's never home because he's traveling the world making thousands of dollars doing seminars. You know, Bailey is the type of guy where he's young enough. I mean, I believe he's in his mid-20s now. Do you know how old Bailey is?
Mid-20s. He just graduated 2 years ago.
So he's getting to that point now where if he wants to start transitioning, I just saw Bailey a couple weeks ago in Toronto. We didn't really talk about this much, but you know, it's kind of like he's making a ton of money, and he's smart too. He's putting a lot of it away, but that guy's all over the world teaching seminars. And in order to maintain that, he's got to stay active in the sport karate realm. So, you know, what's the trade-off? You know, he's saving his brain. He doesn't have to take that type of punishment. He's making awesome money. He's traveling the world. He's getting these amazing experiences. But if he wants to do it, he's going to have to hang all that up. And we had that conversation a while ago of like, listen, man, this is not what you think it is. It is way more intense. Just because you're the man over here does not mean it's going to be immediate over here. You know, look at, you know, perfect example. Again, another guy that I freaking love to death, is incredibly talented. Look at Elijah Everell. Elijah should have cleaned that kid's clock, and he was able to take him down and put pressure on him, put him against the pit, and it made the fight very, very difficult. And now what do you see Elijah doing? He is full-time at, is it Renegade? He's like full-time at Renegade with, you know, the same coaches that Leon has. So that dude's going to be special, whether it's Karate Combat, UFC, whatever, but that's the avenue. You have to go that way. If you don't, you're going to be left behind, and you'll never be successful long-term.
Yeah. This is the beginning of this is the UFC 1 kind of situation where you got to learn jiu-jitsu or you're going to get out of here. It is what it is. And at the end of the day, as much as some people don't like the sport growing, the sport's going to grow. At the end of the day, it has to grow, and for it to grow, it has to evolve. And for it to evolve, things have to change. So the people who are scared of change are going to be the ones that are going to be a little standoffish about it. But at the end of the day, it's got to grow. And it's grown substantially this year. Like the numbers are there to prove it just in the app alone. And the app doesn't even really show you how much people are actually watching. That's just showing you how many people are truly invested, right? Yeah. And that's doubling over a lot of the cards, right? You have some cards where it goes up just a little bit, but for the most part, they're doubling that. So the change is working, right? And it's just like with the old fighters bringing in new fighters, it's going to be old fans that leave and bring in new fans. It sucks, you know, and we don't want nobody to go anywhere. But if it's not what you enjoy anymore, then, you know, you can go find something that's more enjoyable.
It's the name of the game. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, you can stick around. That's why we have many choices. That's where there's a lot of things on TV. You know why? So you could choose what you want to watch, man.
Exactly. Flavor of the week. That's it.
Exactly. Mal, you had something you wanted to ask for Ross?
Yeah, and actually, just to cover, to touch back on that point, if you could find it, I remember there was an interview that Wonder Boy gave about his fight against Matt Brown. He said, "I'm so thankful for this fight against Matt Brown because it made me study jiu-jitsu, made me figure out at least how to get up if I get taken down." And when at that time, Wonder Boy was brand new to the UFC, nobody had seen kicks like that before, and it was different. But he realized he had to evolve. And from getting to actually get a chance to go down to their gym is dedicated to covering all of those skill sets. So if that's the path you choose to take, if you want to only stay on your feet, you got that path. You want to do MMA, you got that path. If you just want to come in, learn to kick and punch and do karate, you have that path. But the thing is, the days of saying that my style defeats anything else, that is so far gone. You have to evolve or you die. But that is a good transition also to Stephen Thompson, who is a brand ambassador. And Ross, I wanted to ask you, if Karate Combat reached out to you and asked you to become a brand ambassador or sensei, would you be open to it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, I think a lot of my popularity skyrocketed because of Karate Combat. I mean, there's no shame in that. The sport is very different, but I think just with my IQ and kind of the way I study the sport and the way I like to watch and still train, you know, I'm still training. I'm still in shape. I'm still doing different things. So, you know, I would love to be a brand ambassador. And if there's things that I can do to help and continue to push the next generation in the right direction, I'd love to do that. You know, it's something I'm still passionate about. I love those guys, man. Boss, I call him Uncle Boss. That's my guy. Josh Palmer, I still have a very good relationship with. So I'm still in touch with a couple of the fighters that are on the roster. You know, I'm actually, believe it or not, pretty good friends with Igor now. So, you know, we talk quite a bit. You know, speaking about Igor, that was another matchup that although he did very well, he did much better than expected. That matchup should have never happened. But again, I digress.
Yeah.
So it's like
If Igor fights for the title again, imagine you having a Rocky and Apollo movie.
say that again.
Yeah, you help him.
Yeah, imagine Igor fights for the title again, and he comes out to Turbo Kickboxing Academy for a Rocky Apollo.
We've talked about training together, so hopefully we can make that happen.
It's gonna happen.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. I like that kid. I actually really like that kid. He's got a great family, great support system. Really cool. His coach is very, very good, very talented. The guy works crazy hard. There's videos on his Instagram right now. He's in a cast pushing a sled, like with his shoulder, doing squat jumps. Like that kid's a beast. He's got the goods. If he wants to continue to grow in karate combat, I think he will. It's just a matter. He needs time, man. He needs time. He's only had like 8 professional fights, and 2 of them were against me. What are you gonna do? So, he's gonna keep. He'll keep growing.
Yeah,
I like these 100%. Stories that are here for you. Hear about guys reaching out and saying it because you think about it. Why do people sometimes hate athletes signing jerseys at the end of a professional game? They're like, why are they doing that? These guys are supposed to hate each other. Like, well, they went to college together. They came up in the same system. And as much as we like fandom and love to put one side against the other, there's a system there that says, you know what? Hey, I'm humbling myself. I really need work on this. Do you mind if you help me? And to hear those stories and to hear first someone says, humbly, please help me. I need to get better at this. I'm going to either try and fail, or I can humble myself and learn the game better. And I think it's those stories that you hear about, little backstory about that, little inside baseball, but that's really cool. I wish him the best success. And I look forward to Igor experiencing some of that wonderful weather up in Rhode Island.
I told him, I said, bro, you need to come in the summertime because you ain't going to like it here right now. So,
I was literally born, I want to say, Pawtucket County. I don't know. I didn't stay there long, but I was born in Rhode Island in the middle of a blizzard because we got stuck there. So trust me, I know I'm a blizzard baby from Rhode Island, basically. Wow. So I understand. Yeah, it's tough up there. But the fact that you're still so heavy into like helping karate combat grow and so eager to like help others as well it's a beautiful thing to see you like immediately into retirement doing that. And like you kind of have it already figured out. Like I feel like some people go into retirement and they're like trying to figure out, what am I going to do now? Like, what is this? You kind of already had things going, and then you jumped into new endeavors as well to kind of fill that void of like fighting and having all of that training and stuff like that. So it's really dope to see. I'm excited to see what you got coming. I'm definitely have to come up. I haven't been to Rhode Island in a long time, since I was like probably like 7. So I think, yeah. Oh, for sure. Oh, I know. I keep moving farther down south for a reason, bro. I lived upstate New York. I lived in Brooklyn. I lived in Virginia. I keep going farther down south because it gets warmer. I'm done. I wear New York hats to think about the cold, but I don't want to be there at all.
Okay. Hey, just to real quick, just so I can throw this in. Another way. I mean, I know you were congratulating me for staying still in touch with like the karate combat scene, and to kind of double back and bring this all full circle onto how I talked about keeping my circle tight. For the people who've watched my YouTube channel so far with myself and Maddie, some people might have noticed that the episodes are being sponsored and powered by Squid Grow. So my man
Shitoshi, that's my boy.
So we've actually kept in touch quite a bit since my last fight. Unfortunately, he wanted to really be behind me throughout my entire fight career, but that was my fight career. So but we kept in touch, man. He's just a hell of a guy, and has so many great projects, and he's doing a lot of cool things with the gym. So we're working together on a couple different things. So, I definitely want to continue to kind of pay homage to him and do some things because he helped in a lot of ways. So I'm going to keep kind of pushing that. We're going to work together on a lot of things. So you may see some projects between us as well.
Yeah, shout out Shib. Shib's doing a lot. Shib, Huntsman, all of those guys over there. Yeah, it's super dope guys, super genuine. He was working with you and Ellie, which is one of my friends, during when you guys both fought. Unfortunately, she got injured, but was very helpful with getting her stuff done. Also, you were too as well. She's very hard-headed, as we both know. She doesn't listen to anybody. You found out
she took most of my advice.
We love Ellie. But Ellie's
doing well
the
now.
reason.
I'm happy for her.
the reason she's such a good fighter is the same reason of why you don't want to give her directions, right? Is because she's so hell strong on doing what she wants and getting stuff done. It sometimes is like, I just want to, and we're like, Ellie, sit your ass down. Sit down. Like I was in Vegas right around the time when she got the surgery, right when she had everything, when you were helping her, I was like, sit down, girl, sit down, just sit down. But she's just so used to doing everything and being this individualist and being able to do all her stuff. So, but it's super dope because Shiv, like, not to change it too much, Shiv has really took a liking to like both of y'all, really helping y'all and seeing you guys be successful as well with growing with his product and the things that they're doing over there. Because they got some good stuff. I've been following them for a while. You know, I'm heavy in the crypto side as well of things. So
they just released Silent Swap too, right?
Yeah, Silent Swap, which was huge. That was huge. They've been working on that for a while. I think they got the Squid Girl coin as well. So they've been doing some big things, man. Shout out Shiv. I haven't seen him in a while. I'm definitely know he's gonna be popping out now more conventions because they got the stuff going. But that's gonna be super dope. But yeah, like I was saying, I'm super happy to see that. I don't like it when I like athletes kind of exit and then they exit and then you like never see them again, right? And it's like, especially when somebody has given you a platform to grow and you've grown with them and they've helped you get to a point where you could be successful and just say, I'm out, right? And, you know, it's cool to see them kind of give back. Also, I want to say thank you in person, like, or kind of in person to you, because like when I say Ross watches everything and this man is such a genuine and humble individual, the first time I ever did anything on Karate Combat, I went back to my hotel room and was looking through my DMs and I seen a DM from Ross and basically was telling me of how well of a job that I did on the broadcast, which fucked me up, literally. Like that's shit happens to me so fast. I don't have time to process things a lot of times. And sometimes something hits you so hard that like you process everything that's happening. And that was like, it happened all so fast. They're like, do you want to be on a broadcast? I was like, yeah. It was like, do you want to do this? I was like, yeah. It was like, so I just kept saying, yeah. And I never was processing anything that was going on. And that message that you sent me was just like, the tidal wave hit me and I was like, holy shit, like you just
like I just did all this. Oh my God.
Yeah. And but it was,
you destroyed it, man. It was really, really good. Hey man, I call a spade a spade. I'll tell it like it is, man. If you ever do something messed up, I'll tell you that too.
Please.
But, I don't think that'll happen. I think friends keep their friends in check in the positive and the negative. So bro, you killed it, man. I love seeing that. And it's cool when you get people who are fans and then, you know, kind of find their way to that next level. You know, and you continue to see people kind of evolve and take on those new roles, and you dominated that. I wish they would use you more, you know, honestly.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm working my way in there. I always tell them, like, I'm probably one of the easiest people to work with because I'm not really scared of shit. So I'm just like, just point. I tell them all the time, like Todd and them, I'm like, bro, just point and tell me what you want me to do. A lot of times my segments get given to me 60 seconds before they happen. Like I literally got the thing for the main event for the last one. Hey, Apollo, 120 seconds. You, president, talk about the main event. I'm like, okay. I had like no idea this was happening, right? So a lot of times I'm just like, just point. And to be honest, that's kind of like how I've always been with any job or anything I've ever done. It's just like we're New York, right? You're coming to a place where everybody's hustling. So if you don't know how to hustle, if you don't know how to get stuff done quickly, if you don't know how to climb the ranks, you get lost. You get lost in the sauce, right? And it's a big saying because that's what happens, right? You get lost in the mix of everything going. So I just always just try to like be like the most easiest person to work with. Somebody who never really says no. I'm not really afraid of nothing. And it was like, if I don't do a bad job, I do a bad job. I pay attention to it. I look at it like fighting, right? Like you said, my combat, if I had in combat sports, I did karate when I was younger and then I competed in boxing, right? So I look at it like fights, right? If I lose, I learn something. Go in, I look at it, I reflect, see what I did wrong, and then I'll try not to do that ever again, right?
So we always say fail forward.
There you go. There you go. Don't fail backwards. Don't dwell on it too much. But yeah, I thank you a lot for that. You know what I mean? It means a lot. And I just want to let you know that like from my actual voice instead of messages.
Thank you, man.
So you can actually know that I really, really appreciate that. It meant a lot because like, dude, like you're a world champ. It's kind of becoming a norm to me because I'm around them a lot because I work with UFC and Karate Combat, but still, I'm still that kid who used to watch Bruce Lee and used to watch like Chuck Liddell and Frank Mir and Lyoto Machida. Like I'm still that kid, right? So it's like being around you guys. Sometimes it's like, wow, like this. It's super dope for me, man, and it keeps me humble as well. Because if you guys can be this humble, it really helps me. Like as I'm growing through this, is like, Dude, the humility, that the level of humility that all of you guys have is just absolutely insane. Like Boss, you're talking about Boss. Like Boss is one of the most humble people you'll ever meet in your life, bro. Like one of the sweetest guys. You would never think the guy who was like literally smacking people with their on the side of their head like this, with this evil look on his face, was the nicest guy in the world. But he's the nicest guy. He doesn't go out. Like every time a karate comment, I'm telling you, it's two people who always go back to their room: Dean Thomas, Boss Rutan. They don't go out. Like these guys are some of the most humble, some of the most chill, some of the most sweet guys you'll ever meet. But straight savages if you piss them off.
Hey man, you've earned everything that you've talked about. You know, you've earned. So congrats to you on just continuing to just push that envelope. So I'm excited to see where you go, man. It's good stuff.
Yeah, well, hopefully I go far, man. I put it as karate combat janitor. That's my title. So I set the bar low for myself. So if I fuck up, it's all cool. Worker. Yeah. Because I'm the master of. Because I'm trying to get them to do it. Maybe I'll get it on the next one. I want them to do my lower third to say master of the custodial arts. And if you are Dave Chappelle, have big fan, you understand where I'm going with this one.
Do you? Yeah, for sure. Do you watch football at all?
Oh yeah, 100%. Giants fan, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's sad, man. They should let Saquon run the rock, man. Let him get that title. But you're Travis Hunter. You do it all, man. You play offense, defense. You got the Heisman this year. So
there we go. I appreciate it.
I don't see why not.
I appreciate it, man, for real. But we also appreciate you for your time. Like I said, you're a super busy man. You gave us more than an hour. We definitely appreciate it. Yeah, man. And we would love to have you on again, especially like once you get things kicking off with the kickboxing. Oh, one more question before we let you go. Are you going to be doing any type of virtual classes? I don't think we asked you about any of that. Are you doing it for like people who will want to work with you, but maybe can't make it to Rhode Island?
Yeah, I think at some point that is likely to open up, especially with the way the world is going now. So I think having virtual classes might be something that we build on in the future. Right off the bat, I really just want to take care of home and build the community and make sure that I can do things. It's one thing when you I don't want to open up and say, yes, I'm going to do all these things. And then, right now it's just myself and Maddie, and I have a jiu-jitsu instructor that's going to be jumping on probably shortly after we open. So we'll be running some jiu-jitsu classes as well with my boy Ryan Chin. But, I don't want to say I'm doing all these things and then I can't deliver, right? So I would rather have these couple things that I know I'm going to crush and do really, really well. And then as we build, I'll expand to some different things. We'll have little kids classes where right now I think our starting point is probably going to be around that like 7-year-old. If you've got like a really good 6-year-old, then we'll take that on. But I don't want to start with like 3 and 4-year-olds. And I'm like, I don't like it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to cancel stuff. So I'm going to build my core of what I know I'm really good at, what I have great experience in, and what I'm passionate about. And then we will just build and build and build until it's ready to, there's an Anytime Fitness next door. As soon as their lease is up, I'm knocking that down. We're expanding.
There you go. So, kicking through the wall.
Yeah, man, whether they like it or not. So I'm just going to take over this whole area, and I just can't wait.
I love to see it, man. Well, listen, New England better watch out because my man Turbo Ross Levine is about to take it over. We like to allow the athlete or whoever we have on get the end, basically the end part of their interview to say whatever you want. Is you got a hot take, you want to promote your kickboxing gym some more, whatever you want to do, this end up time is for you. We appreciate your time, and we're going to let you close it out on your portion of the interview.
Appreciate you, man. Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me. Matt, great to see you. Mal, we got to get together, man. I missed you when I was down in Virginia, so we got to get together. Definitely come up once the gym is set up. I'd love to have you up here. Apollo, same for you, man. I appreciate the Hanukkah question, my man, so thank you for that. But otherwise, man, I love the support I'm still getting from the community, so it means a lot to me to still be relevant, even though I'm not competing. So thank you to the community for still following my journey and all the different things I do, asking questions, but all the other things that I'm still doing, I'm still trying to do at a super high level. So Turbo Sports International, myself, Zach Ben-Bushta, my coach, Brad West, rehab, strength and conditioning, nutrition, performance training. We still got you covered on that. If you have questions, shoot me a DM. Turbo Kickboxing Academy, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, subscribe, and then keep following all you beautiful gentlemen. And anytime you guys want me on this pod, if you just want to talk some smack about some of the latest fights in any fight world, man, I'm open to that. I love this stuff.
Let's do it, man. Well, listen, the invitation is always open. Our door is always open for you. And we appreciate your time once again, man. Enjoy your day.
Sir,
To
you
your
too.
beautiful family. Take care. And Happy New Year, too. I didn't get to say that.
Yes, sir.
Today.
Same
Happy
to
New
you
Year.
guys. Appreciate y'all.